Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. I hope you're having a great week. Welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm Tomás Garza, your host. And as you can see, this is not my typical office surrounding. My wife, Cindy, and I are up in Oregon. We've taken a road trip and we've been on the road for the past couple of days. We're visiting some friends and family. We're here for a giant, fun annual campout that we didn't get to participate in last year. So we're excited about that. And well, this is the studio for about the next week and a half. So we've got some cool art on the walls behind me. There is a curtain hiding what is supposed to be a child's mess with some clothes strewn about and stuff. I've peeked over there, even though there used to be a sign that said off limits. Yeah. So right here behind me, I kind of peeked over. Cindy and I peeked over last night. And well, it's really not as bad as they made it out to be. But anyway, this is the studio, and welcome to the show. Now, it's going to be really, really interesting today, as always, because I'm going to just go very deep. Well, and Jesus goes very deep with A Course in Miracles, because, well, some of you, and maybe you count yourself among these people, some of you are ready for some real depth in your walk. Yeah. Well, and welcome. You know who you are, and welcome to the show. Yeah, let me just say that. So wherever you are tuning in from, if you have questions or comments, as always, I'm always here to be a resource for you. And well, yeah, well, while I'm talking here for about the next 15 minutes or so, I have some commentary on today's idea from the workbook, as always, but I want to invite you to say hello, to pop in with questions or comments that you may have. And if you're catching this on the replay, feel welcome to do that anyway. I will check this from time to time here today. And I'll be broadcasting live right here from an attic studio with a pitched roof right behind me. I think that's an interesting contrast, yeah? I'll be broadcasting live today and tomorrow here, and then the camp out is this weekend. I will be back right here in this very same location next week as we continue our visit. So I'm going to just hop on here, and if you have comments or questions while I'm live, feel welcome to leave them. And those that I see before we end the live stream, I'll get to. All right. And afterwards, feel welcome to do that anyway. And thank you for all the hearts, the likes, the page shares here. We really appreciate your getting the word out there about the programming that we're offering here on Enlightened World Network, because there are so many really wonderful shows. And you may be fully aware of that, but if you're just joining me for the first time, then welcome anyway. And we've got, I'm gonna bring this up and feel welcome to say hello here. I think Cindy wants to say hi here, guys, live. We are live, she's right over here. She just walked into the room and I think she wants to say hello to us. So this is where the showman in me comes out, the drawer. That's Cindy, everybody. Everybody say hi. Hi, Cindy. Welcome to the show. She says thank you. I don't know if you can hear that. All right. Yeah. So anyway, we're live. Oh, you're fine. Everyone says hi worldwide. Hey, this is live. My podcast, Decide to Transform, started off as a live radio show, and we had dogs, we had doorbells, we had a train that went past one time. So truly, the show does go on, and it must, right? Because I hit the live button, and there's really nothing else that we can do. All right. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Thanks for tuning in here. All right, so the idea here for the day is lesson 155 in the workbook for students. It's a deep one for serious spiritual students. In other words, adult learners. Yeah. All right. So lesson 155 says, I will step back and let him lead the way. Now, who's him? Well, it's not necessarily Mickey Mouse, nor is it Bozo the Clown, nor is it your favorite sports figure or celebrity necessarily, right? Yeah, no. What we're talking about is God. All right. If you're just tuning in for the first time, the Course in Miracles uses terms like God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, um, referring to God as him or he, and it's just language. All right. Just language. And you may be familiar with this terminology, you may not be. Whatever your background, this applies to you because it applies to everybody. Now, in spirituality, people talk about getting out of our own way. In Buddhism, I've studied Tibetan Buddhism specifically in the Shampa Kagyu lineage, along Karma Kagyu lineage for several years. There is a lot of talk about getting out of your own way. There's a lot of talk of that in spirituality in general. So let's take a deeper dive this morning into what's meant by that. Yeah. What do we mean by getting out of your own way? Well, what we mean is in life, we try to run the show. We're encouraged from an early age to be self-sufficient. And you don't have to be a man. Women are also encouraged to be self-sufficient, right? They're encouraged to be in charge, in control, right? To take the bull by the horns, take the reins, and drive through life. Yeah. Yeah, we all are. And how's that working out for us? I mean, really working out. You may have a lot of money, and if you do, fantastic, right? You may have millions of dollars. You may have a sexy, hot partner. You may have a beautiful car, lots of property in multiple countries, a private jet. I don't know. I don't know, right? Maybe you have excellent, near perfect physical health and a hot bod. I don't really know, right? Do you have constant, lasting joy and peace and happiness? That's the question in spirituality, is not what we've accumulated in the world, but how loving we are, how forgiving we are, how much closer we are in our own walk, on our own path toward awakening, toward ending suffering, toward leaving it behind. That's the question, right? So when we try to run the show ourselves, we discover that we have stops and starts, don't we? We have fits and starts, if you prefer to think of it that way. That's a real good way to think about it. Just go forward, then back, forward, back, lots of friction. Sometimes we're confused, aren't we? We don't know what to do, nor where to go, nor what to say in particular circumstances. Life just throws them at us. Could be challenges in work, relationships, our physical health, whatever, you name it. How's it working out for you to be in control? I mean, you making all the decisions. The reality is, here in the world, none of us can assure that every single decision that we're going to make is always going to lead us that much closer to awakening. It's always going to produce in us a feeling of exuberance and boundless joy. Well, we mess up a lot. We all do. Who hasn't, right? Who hasn't? We all get in our own way. And the reality is we don't know. Most of the time, we don't know what's best for us. We need a guide. And because you're tuning in to Enlightened World Network, I know that you have a guide, or you have more than one guide. Ultimately, there's the guide, the inner teacher, yeah, which is who or what I invite you to get in touch with. And we step back and we let our inner teacher lead the way. So what happens is we come to realize beyond just an intellectual understanding that we get from books like A Course in Miracles, that we get from some dude speaking on a live stream, things like that. We actually come to, in time, experientially realize that the world is an illusion. The world that we give credence to, that we love and adore, that's so beautiful one minute and so hateful the next, is just an illusion. So not everyone is in the same place on the road to seeing and experiencing that, are we? Right? You may have friends and relatives who think you're nuts for paying attention to a network such as this. I do. They think I'm crazy. They think I'm off my rocker. Yeah. And I just say, okay, well, they may think whatever it is they choose. Yeah. Because not everybody is going to be ready to accept these ideas. Not everybody's going to be ready to work with them and to work on integrating them into your life and experience. And that's okay. That's okay. As we see here in the Course, that's what time is for. Just that, so that we all can awaken. Now, when we take this world to be real, what happens? Well, we suffer. We suffer greatly. We take the world to be real. We take everything in it to be solid and concrete and existing. Just like our high school science books taught us, right? That also means that we identify with the physical body. So what's the ultimate problem in that? Well, it craps out, gets sick and frail, and eventually we leave it behind. It is just, well, it's what, 80% water? It's an agglomeration of matter. It's not who we really are. I mean, it's not us, and it doesn't last. I mean, here in the world, we sometimes morbidly, sometimes not morbidly, call it death. It's just a term. But the physical body that you seem to inhabit is not going to last forever. Newsflash, right? So if we identify with it, we're de facto setting ourselves up for a lot of suffering, because the thing that you identify as you is going to crumble into dust or be torched in a cremation blazing oven. You're going to leave it behind, right? It's not who you really are. Now, you certainly appear to be this. I appear to be a body talking to you. So when we identify with just the body, there's suffering involved. Right? When we renounce the world but still believe that it's real, there's also suffering involved. Why? Because you're doing battle with yourself. And the commentary for lesson 155 in the workbook says all this with very, very precise and accurate clarity. And I invite you to read it, because every time I paraphrase it, I feel like Jesus does a better job of conveying that, which is totally cool with me. Now, what the world needs are teachers that appear to be here in the body. And when we do enough work, we realize, okay, I'm appearing to be in this world, but I'm not of it, and I'm not. And neither are you. So a question that we all will have to answer, if not right now, then maybe in 15 minutes or years from now, is, okay, what am I going to identify with? You identify with your inner teacher. If you identify with God, spirit, source, yeah, it could be Jesus, it could be a lama or a non-human teacher, whatever that is for you. When we do not identify with the world and the body, we get out of our own way. Now, this does not mean don't take care of the physical body. It is a teaching mechanism. We're here to point the way. I'm here to act as a guide. I'm doing as instructed. So, what has happened for me as I've gradually gotten out of my own way? Well, I'm more forgiving. I'm more loving. The joy and exuberance and energy of the Holy Spirit is more constant in my experience. I find I make different decisions than I made when I was getting carried away in habitual tendencies like anger and frustration. Smile more. My jokes are better. Seriously. You can ask Cindy. Yeah, I'm funnier. Yeah, humor's beautiful medicine, isn't it? Laughter's beautiful, beautiful medicine. So there's more of that. And what I find is that personally, as a result of working on getting out of my own way, I speak with the ultimate authority. Now, the commentary in lesson 155 talks about the truth going before you. When you step back and admit that you don't have all the answers and let him, your teacher, lead the way, what happens is truth goes before you. People can see it. They look at you and they see a man or a woman. They see a physical body. They hear a language, whether it's English or something else, doesn't matter. We're able to relate to people on the level where they find themselves without actually being in that same place. Because we don't identify with any of this as real. What goes before us is truth. That is what people recognize. The body is just a body. What people recognize is the truth that you allow to go before you. The Holy Spirit, God, Jesus, right? Your guides, source, the universe. Self with a capital S. Doesn't matter the word that we use for it, they're just words. So it's useless for us, especially as teachers, to quibble over someone else's terminology. That's a waste of time completely, right? Right, yeah. What people relate to is the truth. You reach them. I reach you. You reach the people that you're supposed to reach. They identify with the truth that you bring. And you are quite literally the messenger of that. So it's a process for us as the teacher of allowing the truth to go before us. Lesson 155. I'll step back and let him lead the way. So, as always, there's an invitation for you to step back and let him lead the way. So will you do that today? It's a decision. Isn't that wonderful? It's a decision that we all get to make every moment of every day. If we did not choose this path 5 minutes ago, we have the opportunity to choose again right now. The present moment is all, literally all that we have. And how we use it determines the next moment and the next one after that and that. So will you be a teacher of God? Will you allow truth to go before you? Will you step back, admit that your control freak tendencies aren't working out for you, and let him lead the way? Yeah, that's my invitation to you today, is that you step back and let him lead the way. It's a decision you can make right now. So I hope that you do. Okay. So thank you all for tuning in. Isabel, hi, how are you? And Stephanie, good morning. All right. Guys, if you have questions or comments about this or any lessons in A Course in Miracles, feel welcome to leave them here. I do check the comments here in the Facebook thread three times a day. So if you're catching me on the replay, definitely say hi and let me know. And guys, I will be back tomorrow broadcasting from the very same studio. And specifically, actually, if you're wondering, we're in Western Oregon in the Willamette Valley. And specifically, we're outside of a town called Amity, Oregon. If you've been up this way, it's really, really good Pinot Noir country. I lived here for 23 years in this general area, and we're back visiting. I live in Arizona, where it's significantly warmer. Oh, yeah. And it's significantly sunnier, although the sun's shining today. This is the drier season in this part of the country. So this is the studio that I'll be broadcasting from tomorrow and then the majority of next week as well. So thank you all very much for tuning in, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. If you have comments or questions about this or any of the material, of course, as always, let me know, and I will see you all very soon.